10 Life Lessons from Jesus' Teachings. Whether you are a person of faith, seeking spiritual growth, or simply curious about the profound impact of Jesus' teachings, this video is for you. Join us on this transformative journey as we explore the timeless wisdom of Jesus and learn how to apply it in our lives today. 1. Love and compassion. Jesus taught the importance of love and compassion towards others. He summarized this principle in the verse, "Love your neighbor as yourself," Mark 12 verse 31. This teaching goes beyond superficial expressions of affection and calls for a deep empathy and care for one another. In the parable of the Good Samaritan, Luke 10 verses 25 to 37, Jesus vividly exemplifies the concept of love and compassion. The story recounts how a man, beaten and left on the roadside, is ignored by religious leaders but ultimately helped by a Samaritan, someone considered an outsider in that society. Through this parable, Jesus challenges the prevailing social norms and emphasizes that true love extends beyond social and cultural boundaries. Jesus' teachings on love and compassion remind us to look beyond our differences and treat others with kindness, empathy, and respect. It encourages us to prioritize the well-being of others, especially those in need, and to actively seek opportunities to serve and uplift our fellow human beings. By embracing this principle, we foster a more inclusive and compassionate society, where love becomes a transformative force that bridges divides and brings people together. 2. Humility. Jesus emphasized the virtue of humility and servanthood. He said, "Whoever wants to be first must be the very last, and the servant of all," Mark 9 verse 35. To exemplify this teaching, Jesus washed the feet of his disciples, John 13 verses 1 to 17. By performing this humble act, Jesus showed that true leadership involves serving others with humility, putting their needs before our own, and avoiding the desire for power and recognition. 3. Forgiveness. Jesus taught the transformative power of forgiveness. In the Lord's Prayer, he said, "Forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors," Matthew 6 verse 12. The parable of the prodigal son, Luke 15 verses 11 to 32, beautifully illustrates the lesson of forgiveness. In this story, a father forgives his wayward son and celebrates his return. Jesus used this parable to highlight the unconditional love and forgiveness that God offers to all who seek it and encourages his followers to extend the same forgiveness to others. 4. Integrity and honesty. Jesus emphasized the importance of living with integrity and honesty. He said, "Let what you say be simply yes or no. Anything more than this comes from evil," Matthew 5 verse 37. Jesus often confronted the religious leaders of his time about their hypocritical behavior, as shown in Matthew 23 verses 1 to 36. He emphasized the need for genuine authenticity and honesty in our words and actions, teaching his followers to live with integrity and to be people of their word. 5. Faith and trust. Jesus encouraged his disciples to have unwavering faith and trust in God's providence. He said, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours," Mark 11 verse 24. The story of Jesus walking on water, Matthew 14 verses 22 to 33, demonstrates the importance of trusting in God even in the face of seemingly impossible circumstances. Jesus invites his followers to have faith that God will provide and to trust in his divine plan. 6. Non-judgment. Jesus cautioned against casting judgment on others. He said, "Judge not, that you be not judged," Matthew 7 verse 1. The story of Jesus stopping the crowd from stoning a woman caught in adultery, John 8 verses 1 to 11, exemplifies this teaching. Jesus challenges the crowd to reflect on their own sins before passing judgment on others. He teaches the lesson of non-judgment, urging his followers to show mercy, grace, and understanding to others rather than condemning them. 7. Generosity and selflessness. Jesus taught the value of generosity and selflessness. He said, "Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be put into your lap," Luke 6 verse 38. The story of the widow's offering, Mark 12 verses 41 to 44, illustrates the virtue of giving sacrificially and selflessly. Jesus commends the poor widow for her small yet meaningful contribution, highlighting that true generosity is not measured by the amount given but by the heart behind the giving. 8. Inner transformation. Jesus emphasized the significance of inner transformation and the purity of the heart and mind. He understood that true change begins from within, and he taught that the state of our hearts and minds profoundly affects our actions and relationships. In Matthew 5 verse 8, Jesus proclaimed, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." This teaching emphasizes the importance of cultivating purity and sincerity within ourselves. Jesus encouraged his followers to examine their intentions and motivations, recognizing that a genuine and pure heart leads to a deeper connection with God and a more fulfilling spiritual journey. In his encounter with Nicodemus, John 3 verses 1 to 21, Jesus further expands on the concept of inner transformation. He teaches Nicodemus about the necessity of being born again or experiencing a spiritual rebirth. Jesus explains that this rebirth occurs through surrendering one's life to God and allowing His transformative power to work within us. It is through this inner transformation that individuals can experience a profound shift in their beliefs, values, and actions. 9. Unity and inclusivity. Jesus preached the importance of unity and inclusivity. The verse, "There is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither slave nor free, there is no male and female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus," Galatians 3 verse 28, reflects this teaching. The story of the Samaritan woman at the well, John 4 verses 1 to 42, exemplifies Jesus' inclusivity. He breaks societal barriers by engaging in a conversation with a Samaritan woman, highlighting that everyone is deserving of love, acceptance, and the opportunity for salvation. 10. Eternal perspective. Jesus taught about the importance of prioritizing spiritual well-being over worldly possessions. In Matthew 6 verse 19, he cautioned his followers against accumulating treasures on earth, as they are vulnerable to decay and theft. Jesus understood that excessive attachment to material wealth can distract us from pursuing a deeper, more meaningful relationship with God and others. The parable of the rich fool, Luke 12 verses 13 to 21, serves as a powerful illustration of this teaching. In the parable, a man amasses great wealth and plans to hoard it for personal gain, disregarding the needs of others. However, God admonishes him for his short-sightedness, as his life unexpectedly comes to an end. The parable conveys the futility of chasing after material possessions without considering the eternal implications of one's actions. Jesus encourages his followers to adopt an eternal perspective, recognizing that the pursuit of worldly treasures can often lead to emptiness and dissatisfaction. Instead, he calls for a shift in focus towards treasures that have lasting value, such as nurturing a deep relationship with God, investing in acts of love, kindness, and righteousness, and seeking to make a positive impact on the lives of others. These Bible verses and stories provide a deeper understanding of the life lessons derived from Jesus' teachings, offering practical wisdom for personal growth, relationships, and living a purposeful life.